That's what Ricky Gervais was joking about last night.
Did you watch that?
Of course he was. No, but I did see the one clip that somebody put on the internet.
The first time I did it, like 10 years ago, the sort of press, particularly the industry press in America, was like, why is he saying these awful things to the most beautiful people? You know? And then by the 5th time, right, they were going, good, give it to him, we're sick of celebrities. And not only are we not furious, most of us, we don't care, we wouldn't have even known about it if you hadn't have found it and printed it and told us we're furious. So it's just this vicious cycle. But no, I don't care. And likewise, I know people are allowed to be offended by things I've said. That's up to them. That's the good thing about freedom of speech. I can say what I want. You can say you're offended. I can care or not.
When Ricky Gervais stepped onto that Golden Globe stage in 2020, most people thought they were about to watch another round of savage jokes. You know, the usual. Hollywood getting roasted, celebrities laughing awkwardly, and a few uncomfortable moments sprinkled in for entertainment. But what nobody expected was that this time, it felt different. The room didn't just laugh, it shifted. Faces tightened, smiles froze, and for a brief moment, it was like the entire industry forgot how to breathe.
That's a show about a man who wants to kill himself because his wife had cancer, and it's still more fun than this, okay? Spoiler alert, season 2 is on the way, so in the end, he obviously didn't himself, just like Jeffrey Epstein. Shut up! I know he's your friend, but I don't care.
Because Ricky wasn't just joking anymore, he was pointing. And the scariest part, it didn't feel random, it felt targeted. Now fast forward a few years, and suddenly, things don't look so funny anymore. Celebrities are going quiet, interviews are being canceled, mansions are quietly being sold, some are even leaving the country altogether.
I can't tell you that I had a crystal ball.
The fallout spreading from Hollywood to corporate America, the media, and Capitol Hill.
And knew that there would be this incredible flood of people in industry after industry, women and men coming forward with difficult claims.
And people are starting to ask a question that nobody took seriously back then. Was Ricky Gervais actually warning us? Because when you go back and watch that monologue today, it doesn't feel like comedy. It feels like a message that may have exposed something much bigger than anyone in that room was ready for.
The Department of Justice has released so far, and the manner in which it did so makes one thing clear: someone or something is being protected.
And now, the panic is starting to show. To really understand why that moment hit so hard, you have to look at what Hollywood was going through at the time. This wasn't just another award show. This was right after the industry had already been shaken to its core. The Me Too movement had ripped the curtain wide open. Names that once held power were suddenly being dragged into the spotlight. Secrets that had been buried for decades were finally being exposed.
Talking of all you perverts, it was a big year. It was a big year for paedophile movies. Surviving R. Kelly, Leaving Neverland, Two Popes. Shut up. Shut up. I don't care. I don't care.
And for the first time, the public wasn't just watching, they were questioning everything. People started realizing something uncomfortable. This wasn't just about one or two bad individuals. It was a system where powerful people protected each other, where silence was rewarded, where speaking out could end your career overnight. And once that idea took hold, it changed how people saw Hollywood forever. Then came the Jeffrey Epstein case.
It wasn't the only epic movie. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, nearly 3 hours long. Leonardo DiCaprio attended the premiere, and by the end, his date was too old for him.
And suddenly, things got even darker, because Epstein wasn't just some random criminal. He had connections, powerful ones, politicians, billionaires, celebrities, people who moved in the same circles as the biggest names in entertainment.
Even Prince Andrew's like, come on, Leo, mate, you know, you're nearly 50, son.
And when he was arrested again in 2019, many believed this was it. This was the moment everything would finally come out.
For the record, you've been on his private plane.
Yes.
You've been to stay on his private island.
Yes.
You've stayed at his home in Palm Beach.
Yes.
But then, he died. Just like that. No trial, no testimonies, no full list of names.
I came here in a limo tonight and the license plate was made by Felicity Huffman.
And that's when things got even more suspicious. Because while Epstein was gone, the files weren't. Investigations had already uncovered documents, contacts, flight logs, information that could potentially link some of the most powerful people in the world to something unimaginable. But most of it, still hidden, still sealed, still protected.
That's a show about a man who wants to kill himself because his wife had cancer, and it's still more fun than this, okay? Spoiler alert, season 2 is on the way, so in the end, he obviously didn't kill himself, just like Jeffrey Epstein. Shut up! I know he's your friend, but I don't care.
And that's the environment Ricky Gervais walked into that night. A room full of people who knew those files existed. A room full of people who understood that if everything came out, it could change everything. So when Ricky grabbed that microphone, he wasn't just performing, he was testing the room. At first, he played it safe. Light jokes, movie references, the usual roasting. The audience laughed, relieved. It felt familiar, controlled.
Unfortunately for Tom Hanks and the elite circle shielding him, the latest DOJ Epstein drop just blew his cover wide open. Hollywood publicist Peggy Siegel, a longtime close friend of Jeffrey Epstein, front and center of these explosive files, was caught on record specifically mentioning Hanks. In her own words to Epstein, she casually refers to Hanks being on that infamous island, and asks Epstein to pass on a personal message to the A-lister.
But then, he started pushing, and you could feel it. The jokes got sharper, more personal, less like comedy, and more like truth disguised as humor. He started mentioning names, not directly accusing, but hinting, nudging, letting the audience fill in the blanks.
Notice Tom Hanks has been very silent.
Yeah.
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 And, I don't blame him, it's, we do. I also think that presidents are a reflection of who we are as a people and what our culture has become.
And that's when things started to get uncomfortable. Because in that moment, it wasn't just about laughter anymore. It was about who wasn't laughing. What nobody expected was how the internet would react afterward. Because within hours, people weren't just sharing clips. They were analyzing them, slowing them down, re-watching reactions, looking at expressions, body language, every little detail.
I had to assume for my own sanity that she was the daughter of one of his friends. But it was possible within question.
And one thing stood out more than anything else. Certain people looked nervous. Not just uncomfortable in a "this joke is too edgy" kind of way, but genuinely uneasy, like they knew something, like they were worried about something bigger than a bad headline.
The more I learn about Jeffrey Epstein, the more clear it is that there are connections between the elites, the famous, and the people who are politically in charge.
And that's when the conversation shifted. People started connecting dots. Why did some celebrities suddenly disappear from the public eye shortly after? Why were major properties being sold off quietly? Why were interviews being canceled with no clear explanation? At first, it seemed like coincidence, but then it kept happening, again and again and again. Big names stepping back, staying silent, avoiding attention.
Oprah has spoken out in regards to the Epstein files. Check this out.
And so to hear people say things that are just crazy, like I'm a part of a cabal and there's a whole conspiracy with children, that stuff makes me sad. It makes me sad more than anything that people would believe it. And, it's taken me a long time to get to the point that I'm not, I don't feel hurt by it. I don't feel personally hurt by it. But now I know we live in a world where it's going to be magnified.
Well, Oprah, this child conspiracy has proven to be true thanks to the Epstein files. And your name is mentioned over 100 times in those files.
And in an industry built on visibility, silence can be louder than anything. But here's the twist. The more people looked into it, the more patterns they started seeing. It wasn't just random behavior, it was coordinated, careful, like people were trying to stay ahead of something.
Oprah, Naomi, Rita, and Georgina, they all sat at his table. And for me, meeting Oprah was like, oh my God, like I would have thought that I would have to be someone who's established, who everyone would have had to know about before I was privileged enough to meet someone like Oprah. So that gave me so much confidence in him at the time when he approached me. I thought, obviously this man has something amazing in store for me.
And that something always seemed to circle back to one thing, those sealed files. Because while the public only had fragments of information, insiders knew there was more, much more. Documents that hadn't been released, names that hadn't been revealed, details that could potentially shake the entire industry.
An unknown man her from her home, whence she later awoke in the presence of Harvey Weinstein and Sean Carter, Jay-Z, while Weinstein had, I'm not going to read that out loud. But it does say here that she believed she was in Epstein's mansion in Florida.
And suddenly, Ricky's monologue didn't seem so random anymore. It felt like he knew, or at least knew enough. Because think about it, comedians don't just pick names out of thin air, especially not at that level. There's always a reason, a context, a deeper layer behind the joke.
Ellen DeGeneres has reportedly fled the United States for England. She's running from her HR department. A source close to Ellen and her wife, Portia de Rossi, told The Wrap that the couple has placed their Montecito home on the market and have decided to relocate to the Cotswolds in England.
And when those same names start showing up in conversations years later, people start paying attention. But what really pushed everything over the edge was how Hollywood responded. Or rather, how it didn't. No strong denials, no clear explanations, just silence. And in today's world, silence doesn't calm people down. It makes things worse.
I didn't go out there and break the law. It wasn't mental. Everything was justified. I researched those jokes. I made sure it was fair. I wouldn't say anything to go, well, that's not fair. He didn't do that. I'd go, to only tell the truth. I didn't out anyone. I didn't do anything that was not in public. I didn't do anything that was something they couldn't help. It was about their behaviors. Yeah.
Because when powerful figures stop talking, people start assuming the worst. Every move becomes suspicious, every absence raises questions, and every attempt to stay low-key starts to look like something else entirely, like fear. The emotional impact of all this has been massive, not just for the celebrities involved.
If you do win an award tonight, don't use it as a platform to make a political speech, right? You're in no position to lecture the public about anything. You know nothing about the real world. Most of you spent less time in school than Greta Thunberg. So, if you win, right, come up, accept your little award, thank your agent and your God, and okay?
But for the public watching from the outside, because for years, people believed in the image Hollywood sold, a world of glamour, success, and inspiration. But now, that image is cracking. Fans are questioning their favorite stars, trust is fading, and the line between entertainment and reality is getting harder to see. For some celebrities, this shift has been devastating. Careers built over decades are now hanging by a thread of public opinion. Relationships are being strained. Reputations are being re-examined. And the worst part? Nobody knows what's coming next.
But tonight isn't just about the people in front of camera. In this room are some of the most important TV and film executives in the world. People from every background, but they all have one thing in common. They're all terrified of Ronan Farrow. He's coming for you. He's coming for you.
Because those files, the ones everyone keeps talking about, they're still not fully out.
I'm not going to stop saying things in case someone somewhere is offended, because they will be. There's nothing you can say that someone somewhere won't find offensive, you know.
And until they are, this cloud of uncertainty isn't going anywhere. Which brings us back to Ricky Gervais. Was he just doing his job as a comedian, or was he doing something more? Because looking back now, that monologue feels less like a performance and more like a moment in time where the truth almost slipped out right in front of everyone. And maybe that's why it still feels so uncomfortable, because deep down, people are starting to realize something. That night wasn't the end of the story, it was the beginning. And if everything eventually comes to light, if those hidden details finally surface, Hollywood might never be the same again. So the real question is, when that moment comes, who will still be standing? And who was already running before anyone even realized why? And when you step back and really think about everything that's happened, it starts to feel like we're only seeing the surface of something much deeper. Because this isn't just about one speech, one comedian, or even one scandal. This is about an entire system that, for years, operated behind closed doors, where power, influence, and silence all worked together. And now, little by little, that silence is starting to break. But here's the part that should really make you stop and think. If a single monologue, just a few minutes on stage, was enough to make some of the most powerful people in Hollywood look uncomfortable, then what would happen if everything actually came out? What if those sealed documents were fully revealed? What if every name, every connection, every hidden detail suddenly became public? Because if history has taught us anything, it's that the truth doesn't stay buried forever. It might take years, it might take pressure, but eventually it finds its way to the surface. And maybe that's what we're witnessing right now. Not the end of the story, but the slow beginning of exposure. That uneasy feeling you get watching those clips back, the strange silence from certain celebrities, the sudden changes in behavior, it all starts to paint a picture that feels incomplete, but still powerful enough to raise serious questions. And the truth is, people are no longer willing to ignore those questions. Fans are paying closer attention, the internet is watching everything, and the same industry that once controlled the narrative is now struggling to keep up with it. Because today, you can't just laugh something off and expect it to disappear. Not anymore. So maybe Ricky Gervais didn't expose everything that night, but maybe he didn't have to. Maybe all he did was open the door, just enough for people to start looking inside. And once people start looking, they don't stop. Now the real question isn't whether something is going on behind the scenes. The real question is, how much of it are we still not seeing? And more importantly, who already knows the answers? Because if the reactions, the silence, and the sudden changes are anything to go by, then whatever's coming next might be bigger than anyone expected. So keep your eyes open, stay aware, and don't just believe everything at face value, because sometimes the truth is hidden in the moments people try the hardest to ignore. If you made it this far, drop your thoughts in the comments. I really want to hear what you think about all of this. And if you enjoy deep, eye-opening stories like this, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, because trust me, this story is far from over. I'll see you in the next one.